Hey there, are you ready to add some magic to your sketchbook or art journal? Well, today we are making Dreamy Cloud Collages. These are easy, fun, and just the right amount of messy. So grab your watercolors, some multimedia paper, paintbrush, scissors, glue. We are going to build backgrounds, we're going to cut out designs, and then we are going to add sparkle to make these things glow. So let's get started. I have already washi taped out a page in my sketchbook. This is the page where I am going to put our cut out shapes on top of. So I want this background to be like a dark night sky. I'm using shades of indigo and purple for this, and I'm just going to slowly build up with water and pigment on this page. I'm going to keep it darker up top, and I'm going to anticipate covering most of the bottom portion with our cutout shape. So I'm not too concerned about how the bottom's going to be. I'm just going to keep it a little bit lighter than the top. And you'll see how I'm going to start to drop in some water right here just to start moving and shifting that pigment around. I want to build up some areas that have more pigment and other areas that have less. So I'm slowly getting more and more pigment on my brush and just dabbing it around. And you'll see how this is just shifting in front of our eyes because of the amount of water that's on there. So everything is slowly moving in an outward direction. And I am going to grab my towel. Okay, so I have got this cloth towel, like cotton. It's actually an old cotton bed sheet, but I wad it up and just kind of blot on the paper, and it helps lift up some of the areas that are wetter than others. It will lift up pigment, so you can see here I'm adding more pigment in, but that's about it. So I'm going to let this guy, I'm going to set it aside and let this dry, and we're going to work on some of our cutout shapes. So I've already put one layer on these two sheets of just, a little bit of turquoise aqua and a little bit of orange and yellow. So now I'm adding a second layer, and I'm adding a bit of water and a lot of pigment on top of this first layer. Because again, what we just did for our background, I want to do on these sheets too. So I'm grabbing my towel, my rag, and just kind of blotting after I'm adding pigment and water to these sheets. And then I'm just going to let that dry, and I'm going to repeat the process for this other one. I've got a lot of water on my brush and a lot of pigment, moving it around, and then I'm grabbing my rag and blot, 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 blot. And I'm just making sure I'm leaving some areas that have more pigment than other areas. I'm adding a yellow ochre right here because I think that'll be pretty once it dries. All right, and I'm going to set those aside. Okay, we're going back to what we first did. There it is. I think it's got some neat patterns in it and different combinations of color. You'll also see under my little butterfly clamps, I grabbed another piece of paper that I had just found in the room that I had scribbled some watercolors on. So I'll use that as well for our clouds and planets and moons or whatever. So I'm just grabbing a cup and I'm going to do a couple circles. One orange and one of these turquoisey blue guys. And I'm going to begin to cut that out. I don't have to have all my shapes drawn to begin with because I don't know what I'm going to use as I go on. So I'm just going to start with these two circles and see about placing them in my design and where I want them. All right, so I'm already thinking they're too big. They're just too big. So I'm going to cut down both of them and make them more manageable sized. This page isn't very big. It's only like 8 by 8. And then with it all taped off, I think it's only 7 inches by 7 inches. So yeah, those sized planets look a little bit better. All right, so now I've grabbed my pencil and I'm just going to draw out a little cloud shape. You can get online and look at clouds and just get an idea. I'm not overthinking this. I'm just kind of doing a bunch of half circle shapes And there it is. And I'm going to do one more. And I'm kind of doing it the opposite direction because I want the clouds to be parting in front of this moon, this planet. I haven't quite decided what it is yet. And one more. I'm going to cut out doing the same thing. And I'd rather cut it too big than cut it too small. So right there, it's too big. I'm going to cut off that side. Yeah, and I like that pink on top of that lighter purple color. All right, now I'm going to draw out some clouds on this orange that are going to be the width of the entire piece. I just want a strip of clouds down in front. You'll see what I mean right here. Just going to cut that out. Now, I love the lighter portions. I've used the darker portion for the planet, and I've used the lighter ones for the clouds. That looks beautiful. I like how it stretches across the whole thing. And I'm going to do a couple, maybe like half moon shapes, maybe just a few, just humps of color. There we go. And then this blue. I'm going to do another one that's the length or the width of the whole thing and just start working with that. I know it's too long. I'll have to cut some of this off and maybe a little bit more. Here we go. Okay, so now that I've got a bunch of shapes cut, I'm just going to start rearranging them and trying to decide where it is that I want these things to live. I've got to make some decisions before I get the glue out. Let's see. I don't think I like the pink behind the blue. I think I'm going to do, the pink at the bottom, the blue behind. Ooh, I like that color combination. Okay. And that cloud bothers me too. That top one. Let's rearrange these a little bit. I'm going to make this one smaller. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. Still want another cloud, but I think it's going to be blue and not another pink one. There we go. Yeah, see how that color combo looks great? Keeps your eye moving around. All right, so we're going to start gluing some stuff down. No, we're not. I'm going to cut some more. I made that guy smaller, but I don't think I like it. I'm going to do another one. I kind of want a spot with these spots on it. Yeah, look, that looks more planetary with the two little darker dots on that, just kind of moving things around. I'm going to cut this down just a little bit more. See what that looks like. Yeah, that looks planetary, and that looks all proportional. Okay, fantastic. All right, now it's time to glue. So get my glue stick out, and it's important to realize you have to start gluing the thing that is underneath everything. So you saw a part of the clouds. And then I did the moon or planet, whatever that is. And now I'm doing the clouds on top of it. I have to do this one first because I'm going to put this blue one on top of it. See? Very nice. And I'm pressing it down. All right. So now I've got to start with the blue planet again because it's underneath all the clouds. And I want to make sure it's got some of those dark spots popping up above the orange that we're about to put down. Okay, plenty of glue. And that glue stick is just awesome, by the way. That Oohoo stick, I got it off of Amazon. Really easy to use. It stays fresh. It's got a screw-on cap. It's really, really good stuff. I think it came in a pack of 2 even. All right, so I'm going to put down this blue. And then we've got our 2 little pink humps down in front. See, and that's really coming together. I think that's so much fun that we painted our clouds and our planets, and now we've cut them out and putting them on in our sketchbook. I love it. Although I'm still kind of feeling that something's missing in the middle or up top. So let's see about think, yeah, this guy. Yeah, I'll put him up there. I do want to use him. And it's perfect size up there, and it kind of keeps your eye moving up and off the page, wondering what else is up there, right? So I'll pop this guy up, and I'm going to raise him up above our washi tape line we made and pop him right there. Fun. Okay, so now we're going to start embellishing things with gold. I have this acrylic ink. It is by Amsterdam. It just has a really nice flow to it. It tends to go on very easily with a paintbrush. I love it. So I'm just going to take my time, and this is what's so satisfying. You don't have to think about this part at all. You're just kind of in the moment, tracing around the shapes that you've already cut out, so they're raised up a little bit from your background, and I'm just tracing around each one of them with gold. As you do this, you'll see that things are going to start really popping out. I have been in a gold phase lately, and I think I like it, so I'm gonna stick with it a little while. I'm gonna be putting gold on everything for a little minute. All right, tracing around these clouds. And I kind of like that the line is thicker, because it does kind of go along with the fact that we've cut out these shapes. All right, and then these clouds at the bottom. And I suppose you could have done the gold before you glued everything down, but I don't know. I just chose not to do it that way. Plus, I didn't waste all the paint that would have been underneath shapes that I've glued down. So I think this is the way I prefer to do it, at least. There is no one right way of doing things. I will always admit that. There are 50 different ways to do the same thing. Everybody's got a different outlook on the world and a different way of looking at things. So speaking of looking at things, I've decided I'm missing something here in the middle. So I think I'm going to do a crescent moon. And so I've grabbed that light turquoisey again and cut out a moon. Let's flip it around. Yeah, right there. I think I like that. And it kind of connects and is going up and off the page in that line of planets, moons, whatever it is, above the clouds, making it very dreamy. So yeah, I'll glue that right there. And then of course I'm going to have to come back with that gold ink and trace around the edge of this shape that I just did down. And, you know, once you finish something, you can always go back, just like I did. I decided I needed another shape in the middle, and that's okay. I went and cut one out and popped it on there, and it looks great. Love this. So satisfying. All right. So now I am going to start adding, got a little bit, some areas that are popping up. So I'm adding some of the stick glue underneath some of these corners that I actually neglected earlier. Maybe I can get them to stay down. All right, so now I'm going to get some pens, these gold and silver pens, and just start making some marks. I'm going to do a crescent moon right here and make like a little string coming off of it with a little pendant. And I just have a vision of stars and different shapes just kind of dripping down out of the clouds, much like a chandelier would have little things hanging down off of it. So I'm just kind of going around the page in different places. Here's a little teardrop shape I've decided to make, and pulling lines down off of these shapes. Keeps your eye moving up and down, and it actually is adding a different three-dimensionalness to it. I'll pull these lines down as well. And another one hanging off of the cloud, and this cloud, and over here. Okay, another teardrop shape. I've got one teardrop on the left, so I definitely want to add another teardrop somewhere on the picture. And I think in that bottom right corner is the perfect place for it. One more there. All right, so now I've got my silver pen out, and I'm going to start pulling down a few pendants off of these clouds with some circles on them. And one over here. And then I'm going to grab this white pen. I think I've decided I want to be able to see what I've done no matter which way I tilt the page, and these gold things, sometimes they shine, sometimes they don't, depending on the direction of the light. So I'm just kind of highlighting these with a little bit of white so I can still see them from different angles. So you guys continue to embellish as you will. And if you missed my previous class on abstract watercolor backgrounds, please check it out. I've got the link right here for you. It's a great class, but this is just another way to use those amazing watercolor backgrounds that we've made. I'm Jules. This is my Art Bender. Thanks for joining me.